me do it. Ah, there we go. Grrrr. Greetings, humans. Greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods, and today, oh boy, we actually have a good show for you here today. Can't say that it's going to be a professional show, and Bear's still working on that, but you know what? We're gonna have a good show nonetheless for you great people out there. I hope you had a great weekend and everything. Bear, actually got to, man, oh man, I tell you what, ever since the first of the year, Bear has just been loaded and overloaded with everything here. So, sorry that we didn't have a show on Saturday, but we're gonna make it up. We're gonna make it up for you good people out there here today. So, let's go ahead, without any gibber nor jabber, we shall get started here. Greetings, Speed Money, greetings. Good to have you here. Good to have you here, sir. Yes, indeed. Actually, by the way, let me make a side note here, real quick, just for our great friend here, P Money here. Actually, if you haven't checked out, by the way, Bear actually has a second channel. Believe it or not, he actually does have a second channel, and mainly devoted towards the live shows that we've been doing. So we've been putting up some of the live shows from the past there and everything, doing some good stuff there. Do check that out if you've got the time. Not right now, not right. We actually have a live show on the live show here, but yeah, later on, go check that out. It's at Barely Live. Let me type that in just in case everybody doesn't know. It'll be Bear without the hyphen. No, not nearly, for crying out loud. Stupid autocorrect. No, not nearly, for crying out loud. Let me do this thing. There we go. There we go. There we go. So if you want to check it out, it's at barelylive.com. Yeah, not to be confused with the other channel that talks about the Chicago Bears. Completely different show there. Completely different show. But by the way, circling back here, going through some of that stuff, kind of listening along, kind of, okay, look, where do I put the chapter markers and everything? So I actually have heard some of the stuff in the past there. So, sometimes P-Money might be out there saying something, and Bear kind of talks about it real quickly and kind of moves along and everything. Kind of, got a show to do here and everything. So, you know what, P-Money, if Bear has kind of passed by some of the comments or something like that you had, do apologize about that. What was it? I think you were there for the Foundation show. We just put that up just the other day, and had your birthday. So, once again, we were very much into the show at the time, but hey, once again, very belated happy birthday. Let's see, I am, P-Bunny says I'm subbed to the second channel, and the past show memories bring tears to his eyes. Well, it does to Bear too, but mainly because of just, oh my goodness, I need to do better. I need to be a better broadcaster out there. It's not going to be today, but it will be eventually there. Same thing, hey there, Jeff Potts. Same thing with Jeff Potts. I think we were talking about something. Jeff, we were talking about the other channel that Bear has, kind of doing the Barely Live show. We were in a discussion a little while back, I think. I can't remember which show it was. It was the one where we're going back and forth with the NFT and all that sort of stuff. Jeff Potts mentioned that he had the Woo flu, and Bear just kind of completely was in all the other stuff and completely blew past it and everything. So I know Jeff doesn't mind or anything like that, but man, oh man, you hear that after the fact, and it's like, oh man, I should have mentioned something about that or something like that. So again, one of these days, Bear will do a professional show. But yeah, anyways, if you want, go check out not right now, for crying out loud, but sometime later on, check it out. We've got some good stuff. I just got the Foundation show up. So if you've ever seen that show, do check that out. All right, let me actually get into. Speaking of the Foundation, by the way, there it is. All right. Anyways, getting to the meat of the matter here. The meat of the matter here. Actually got this email probably last week, I think. So probably right after the show was going to be happening here. So I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but you know what, everybody? You don't really watch this show to figure out what's going on right now. You watch the show to figure out what's going to go on. So we were talking a little while back about supply chains and all this other stuff. There's a paper shortage out there, so we kind of let everybody know, gosh, maybe a month or two back or something like that. Hey, everybody, make sure you want to check out, all your artists out there, all your campaigns out there. Hey, by the way, there's going to be a paper shortage out there, so just make a note of that. Well, we've got here. I tell you what, it's from Indie Dave Sweens and the crew over there at Oddity. I tell you what, I mean, one thing after the other. We talk sometimes about late comics and stuff like that. One of them is Bear actually completely forgot about it until they started doing updates pretty recently. Is Oddity here? So looks like they're finally got everything together and is about to ship out, but they have a issue with the printers. Let's get into that. He says, so we've run into an issue that that I have heard other campaigns have had. That's true. You should listen to Bear's channel. Supply issues or a paper shortage have caused delays in printing. Below is an email from the printer describing just the issue for the print. Oh, pardon me. So it's just for the proofs. So he's not even doing his book yet. They're just doing the proofs for it. So it looks like there is a 2-week delay, which actually, if you read the letter, it's where is it here? 14 working days, so probably about 3 weeks. So hopefully that's the worst it gets. I sure hope so. Unless your printer outfit is in Los Angeles and your train carrying your packages has been taken over by the bandits, maybe riding on horseback or something like that, and they're taking your packages out and everything. But anyways, let's see. Let's go on. It says so hopefully that's the worst it gets. And great words here. If you're starting a campaign of your own, be aware of these kinds of issues. Yes, indeed. So, pardon me here. Yeah, he says that it's the print shop. It's 14 working days. So usually that's your 5 days a week, and then they take off the weekend. So probably about 3 weeks. Let's see, Bear got this last week, so probably 2 more weeks before they even get their prints. Much less printing it out there. One of the things that Bear mentioned, gosh, a little while back was some of the campaigns should get together and maybe stagger some of the releases so they can go to a print shop and say, hey, we've got 500 of this comic and 1,000 of this comic and 1,500 of this other comic, so they kind of have that in order, ready to go, and they can kind of shift gears pretty quickly rather than just doing a single campaign and then have to shift out to go do whatever the print shop is printing out there, all sorts of stuff. It's not just comic books or anything like that. So that might be something for some of the campaigns out there to check out. Let's see. Well, same with Bear here, people. Wow, Oddity, another campaign I backed and forgot. Yes, indeed. So there you go. Oddity actually looks pretty good. I kind of wish that they did things sooner. I mean, gosh, this thing came out, I want to say 2019 when they had the campaign. So, I mean, it's been 2 years or about a year and a half. So, yeah, one of those things. What can you do? What can you do when they come for you? All right, let me get out of this. Pardon me. One of these days we will do a professional show. All right. Oh, one of Bear's new sort of favorites here. Actually, Bear is wearing the beanie right now that he got from Alterna Comics out there. So there you go. Alterna Comics. He's talking about closing down soon. This is the fall 2021 campaign. If you haven't checked it out, Bear did a box open not that long ago of the Alterna Comics that you got from this campaign. So not right now, of course, but check that out. Let's see, he says, all comics from our fall 2021 campaign will be shipped out by Wednesday the 19th, question mark. I'm not sure if he's asking, I'm not sure about that there. Wednesday the 19th, the campaign will close a few days after that. So that's actually today. Oh my goodness. Comics, rather, will be listed on the alternaaccess.com on January 26th. So is that a week away? About 50 backers will receive their comics now, but their collector cases will be going out in 6 to 8 weeks. Holy cow. Once again, we hit a snag in the supply chain. The supply chain? The supply chain. There we go. But once we receive them, they'll get shipped out ASAP. Yes, indeed. Thank you for backing, and we hope you'll join us on the winter pre-order campaign if you haven't done so already. There you go. So that's from Publishing Pete out there and Alterna Comics. So yeah, again, I mean another book out here. It's got some quote unquote supply chain issues out there. So hopefully they can get that worked out. Bear actually liked his what does he call it here? The collector case, kind of like a trapper keeper sort of issue where you can kind of keep all your books in there. Pretty neat. Oops, I minimize that. There we go. Well, let's check out another book that Bear Beer got and still has not read. I still need to get around to it. Oh my goodness. I'm actually thinking about I got in just the other day, still need to do the box open for it, is Earthbound 2. So maybe Saturday might be a good time for another one of Bear's classics here, the back-to-back reviews, and kind of figure out which one is better. Bear kind of likes doing that, rather than just kind of doing one book or the other, kind of forces you to kind of pick a side there, figure out, okay, which one is actually the better of the books there. So, anyways, he says, let's see, it's Quinn Howard here from, what is it called? Quinn's Ideas. Quinn's Ideas, there we go. Let's see, Shipping Tadhya, making the audiobook audio drama. Let's see, hundreds of you have got your books. Still a few hundred to go. I've been doing this all by myself, and it's been a learning experience. So far, things have gone incredibly smooth, except for the one thing, what was it? I think he also had a printing issue, if Bear recalls as well. So far, things have gone incredibly smooth, and I definitely feel as though I can continue doing this myself rather than hiring a fulfillment company that may or may not do things to my liking. Yeah, that's kind of a sort of a bone of contention out there, whether or not it's better to have the personalized thing from the artist there to kind of put it in the package, or do a fulfillment company. Some fulfillment companies do great. Not too many great things to say about the old Dirtworm there, but you know what? He really has his fulfillment down. But, some of the other places it's kind of hit or miss. I do recall the Expendables kind of being an issue there. I think it's one of your boys, Zach's campaign, he actually did it himself because the fulfillment company wasn't doing it as he liked. So, yeah, I think that might be a good idea is print shops as well as fulfillment companies, which ones to check out and which ones to avoid there. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Here we go from P Money. Still a few hundred Tadhyas to go. I hope I'm one of them. Well, Bear actually saw. Pardon me here while he takes a drink. Bear actually saw where they actually closed down the what was it, the trucking back and forth between the border there. So that's going to be a whole. Oh boy, that's going to be a whole issue there. It looks like some of the trucks are actually just kind of doing the slow roll around there. So they're blocking the lanes and all this other stuff. So, yeah, that's gonna be an issue, kind of going back and forth between, the name of the show here, supply chains. Yeah, that might be an issue for some of the campaigns here. Bear was kind of thinking here, like, would it be better? I know it's expensive as heck, but it might actually be better to ship some of the stuff airmail, just across the border. I'm not saying like every individual house or anything like that, but have it shipped maybe across the border by airmail, and then shipped out throughout the country that way. That might be a little bit better of an option instead of having them sit, 6-8 weeks or something like that on the what do they call those, the docks for the trucks there. That might be a little bit better. Let's see. Anyways, watch the linked video for more info on the audiobooks and the shipping process for these. I actually haven't seen that, so pardon me here. Might want to check that out. Hey, that's a nice office, by the way. Pretty cool. I like the lighting in there. Actually, watched one of the videos, and Quinn actually said that what was it? I think I mislabeled it, but it was the dual cover of the Matthew Weldon. I think he said that was his favorite. A favorite for bears too. Actually have it where is it? Right over here. By the way, one thing about the Tadhya campaign. Let me see if I can get a good image of it here. You can't really see very well. If you go check out the box open, you can see it. But it's these the mailers that they have here. Let me see if I can. I can't zoom in on it, but the little mailers that they have here that the book is contained in. The only downside to it, the only downside that Bear could find to it is they actually had a number of bookmarks and stickers and all that sort of stuff. I know you're supposed to take the stickers and stick them up and everything, but trying to keep it with the book, it never came with actually its own little sleeve to put it in or anything like that, so you can't keep everything together. So Bear's trying to figure out how to keep some of that stuff together. If you put it all in the book, it doesn't close properly. But I tell you what, out of all the issues that that one could have, not being able to find a place to put all your extras is probably pretty low on the totem pole there, as it were. Yes, indeed. All right, let me go to the next thing here. I think we'll wrap it up here with this last one here from one of the greats out here. I'm talking about. I actually don't even know if I should share this. I don't know if I should share this or not with you good people. Aaron Lepresti always doing a great job with the updating here, but he says that the Garbage Man, I always get this confused. Trade paperback secret perk is updated. Hey everyone, I was able to squeeze an additional 10 copies of the Garbage Man trade paperback out of Dark Horse. So if you're still waiting to get a signed copy as an add-on to your previous order of Wraith of God, here's your probably last chance. The link below will take you to the secret perk. And also, let's see, let me find it here. Also a quick update on the progress of the, holy cow, I didn't realize it was that big, 78 page, wow, Wraith of God graphic novel. I'm currently working on page number 41, which puts us, blah, 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 let's try it again here, which puts us a few pages past the halfway point. Too many P's in there, especially when you're trying to do this, in a microphone here. Moving steadily forward, thank you all for your continued support. And you can check out that secret perk for the Garbage Man trade paperback. I always try to think it's like a to be decided. It looks like that, but no, trade paperback of Garbage Man. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out right there. Let's see. P-Money asks, "Oh, okay, so the Garbage Man is only an add-on to the campaign." Yeah, that's what it looks like. I don't think he's adding a new campaign or anything like that. I think he had this, if Bear's not mistaken, originally on the campaign, and it got sold out. So he's able to go back to who was it here? Dark Horse, and get a couple more out there. So yeah, if you want yours, go ahead and you're going to need to sign up with Wraith of God first, and then get your email. And by the way, I haven't checked this, so it might be all sold out. I know that was I think he had, gosh, I think he had like 30 or 40 the last time. So maybe the people that didn't get it the last time have already scooped it up. Let's see. Yeah, this is from yesterday, so might be a little bit late, but you never know. Never know. You can maybe get your last one if you are really interested in it. All right, let me do the thing with the thing, and then the thing, and then you do the other thing, because we actually have here some interesting news stories out here. Some interesting stuff out here. I probably should have done this first, but that's all right. That's right. We'll do it however we want here. Let's see. Let me do the thing with the thing here. There we go. There's that. And then you click on the thing. And there we go. There we are. Let's see. Our main story here comes from, let's see, Just the News, a great website here. The head of Atlanta's transit system kills self by stepping in front of commuter train. Marta hails Jeffrey Parker as an outstanding leader and steward of Marta, whose passing leaves us all heartbroken. Especially Mr. Parker, whose heart is literally broken. Let's see, it says, let me get out of that. The top executive of Atlanta's Marta system has died by suicide after stepping in front of a commuter train. Jeffrey Parker, 55, the CEO and general manager of the, Bear can make a joke here, but he's not. The Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority since 2018 was hailed by the MARTA board chairwoman Rita Scott as a dedicated civil servant and leader in a statement Saturday announcing his death. The MARTA board of directors grieves the shocking death of our GM CEO, Jeff Parker, who has died by suicide. Scott says he was an outstanding leader and steward of MARTA, whose passing leaves us all heartbroken. Once again, the most heartbroken is probably Jeff Parker, who stepped in front of a MARTA train. So there you go. I suppose. I mean, you can make a case here for environmentalist of the year, probably. Somebody who's doing the trains instead of the cars there, and then once hey, I'm taking up too much space here on the earth. Let me just self-delete here, and the best way to go is where your heart is, right on the windshield of the train that had just hit you there. So there you go. That's some interesting stuff there. Resisting urge to do a died doing what they loved joke. There you go. There you are. All right, people. All right. Well, enough of this. I mean, we've talked about it in the past. I'm sure some of you are so just annoyed and just angry and just, gosh darn it, I don't want to hear any more. Don't want to hear any more about it, but you know what? Bear's teeth have sunken in so deep. I tell you what, they've done it, people. They've finally done it. I tell you what, this is not what Bear envisioned the future to be. I mean, envisioned like flying cars, going to Mars, all that great stuff. No, none of that. No, we're talking about, and this is from the Art newspaper here, caviar with your crypto? A world's first NFT restaurant planned in New York. Goes on, it says, access to the members-only restaurant will be available only to holders of limited edition non-fungible tokens. There we go, our non-fungible token story of the day here. It has been said that there can be no romance without finance. Ooh, that's interesting. But a forthcoming New York City seafood restaurant, there will be no fish without fintech. Oh my God! Bear's apocalyptic future scenario is coming true. I tell you what. Bear needs more than water for a drink here. I tell you. A Fly Fish Club, an eatery in the VCR restaurant group. Probably a good group from the 1980s, but not today. Has plans to open a early 2023 at an announced location that has, quote, iconic views of New York City, per a promo video. It will require guests to show proof of membership in the form of an NFT in order to enter. Though it's being marketed as the world's first NFT restaurant, once inside, members will be expected to pay in US dollars to consume fungible fish. I hope it's not fish that are have fungi on it. That would be odd. The membership comes in 2 tiers, of course, a 2-tiered society, with standard members, quote-unquote, tokens supporting an artistic rendering of a handsome yellowfin tuna, while the most exclusive tier, giving the members access to the club's private omakase room, features tokens with renderings of various sushi and susami dishes that will presumably be offered therein. Ooh, a fancy word there from the Art newspaper. And the first drop of 1,151 memberships sold out within hours, because why not? While another 350 were gobbled up in a private sale in December. I hope you got yours, according to Nation's Restaurant News. Standard membership, priced in Ethereum, were initially sold for around 2.5 ETH, or around a little short than $8,000. while the Omakase memberships were offered for the low price of 4.25 ETH. Or around $13,000. And that doesn't get you any fish, by the way. That just gets you in the door to get the fish. Who knows how much the fish costs? Oh my god, you probably have to buy another NFT. Fly fish memberships are now trading like hot crab cakes on appropriate enough open sea. One Omakase membership token has resold for around $36,000. The highest secondary market price for a fly fish club membership as of this rating. Unfortunately, the enormous energy consumption required by each transaction using Ethereum, blah 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 blah. Bunch of pinko commies, yeah, blah blah blah, whatever. So, anyways, if you ever want to go to New York City for whatever reason, I don't know why, if you've got the right NFT, you can get into the most posh restaurant in New York City. With I'm sure some great, what did they call it? What was it? Iconic views of New York City. So probably a view of the subway entrance, or the hobo that's on the park bench or something like that. An iconic view. Maybe actually looking over a hot dog stand. That would be an iconic view there. There you go. All right, what does the chat have to say? So we can only open stores that say NFT store cash only. That's a good one. Good one there, P Money. You got me there. All right. Well, since we are on the NFT kick here, I apologize, people. I do apologize here, but I tell you what, Bear has sunk his claws and his teeth in with like just vigor into this thing, and we've got another one here, by the way. Let me go back up to it. By the way, actually saw, was on yesterday. I think I was uploading the video or doing something with one of the videos there. I saw our good friend, we make fun of old Mike, but our good friend over there, Mike Miller, trying to start up his, some sort of whitelist. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing there, but it didn't go according to plan there, so, Bear checked it out for a minute or something like that. You probably noticed Bear wasn't, egging anybody on or anything like that. It's the hubris of the whole thing. I think that's, it's, you see that and it's like, I'm the best in the world, and then, it kind of falls apart. It's just interesting. So it gets us into opinion. Is Web 3.0 a scam? From, let's see, Alex Vanos. I hope I pronounced that right, and that's, I think it says his stackdiary.com. Here we go. So, I'm not going to read the whole thing here. You can check it out. Bear keeps forgetting to put in putting in the link into the description. We'll have to remember to do that. But anyways, here is a description of what some of the people call Web 3.0 here. Okay. I've got some, there you go. Thank you, P Money. Although we do very much appreciate our good Russian bots out there. Before you go into Ukraine or anything like that, we do appreciate you coming by here and checking out the Bear stream and leaving us whatever comment that you have there. I'm not really sure what's going on, but there you go. Just gonna take a little sliver and just a slice of Ukraine over there. All right, let's see. Anyways, let's see. The trying to figure out what Web 3.0 is. What is kind of the definition behind it here? So kind of with this person, he kind of wraps it up kind of in a sort of kind of a catch-all, I guess. Web 3.0 or Web 3 aims to use the technology of the blockchain and smart contracts to create a decentralized experience on the web. Oh boy. Although, as we talked about in the past, it's not completely decentralized, but that's a whole other show. In such a world, each user owns a piece of their own internet. Not quite true, but alright. So rather than having big tech giants like Google and Facebook following each of your footsteps, or each of your steps, Web3 and decentralization promise to keep your identity intact. This is best seen through the lens of DeFi, or decentralized finance, as the blockchain can protect users' identity unlike banks. Alright, we'll go with that. We'll go with that, because he says it's a narrow definition, a bit enticing, that is largely going to remain a daydream until we see, and he kind of lays it out here, simplified applications in a real-world scenario. Alright, so we're going to talk a little bit about NFTs. Not going to go too deep into it or anything like that. I just want to kind of show some of this stuff here. So, Web and NFTs, what's the correlation? It says you cannot talk about Web 3.0 without talking about NFTs. And of course, that's what we're here for. Arguably, most people only know about Web3 because of these blockchain-based digital art pieces. Alright, so let's see if I can zoom in on that. Let's see, does that work? Yeah, it works. Beer's in the way, though. Let me get out of the way. There we are. Okay, so here is some of the biggest, how would you describe this? Collections? I think they're called collections. So some of the people might have heard of the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. That's kind of the sort of big collection. I don't know if it was the first or anything like that, but kind of the big, the sort of Coca-Cola of the NFT worlds, as it were. So you've got your Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm not sure if the Mutant Ape Yacht Club is the same, what would you call that? Not part of the same collection, but part of the same group there. I'm not sure if that's the same thing. Now below that you have the Sandbox, and then below that you have the Bored Ape Chemistry Club. Again, I'm not sure if it's the same thing. I think they're part of the same sort of whatever you call it, clubs there. And then, of course, you've got the Cool Cats NFT. All right, so to the side of that, we've got the daily trades. We're not going to really focus in on that, although, it's important and everything, but we're going to go with the volume. So you see how much what they call ETH out there is being traded. So the big two, well, I guess you could say the big three here, quite a bit, 42,000, 37,000, 21,000. So the third is about roughly half of what the number one Bored Ape Yacht Club is doing here. And then after that, you really kind of fall off a cliff here. So you've got the Bored Ape Chemistry Club at 5,000, let's just call it 6,000 ETH. And then you have the Cool Cats NFT at about, I will just call it 5,500 ETH. So basically, if you're not part of one of the really big collections, clubs, however you describe it here, it really, that isn't really where all the action is. It really kind of falls off the map there, as it were, after a number of these larger collections or campaigns that you have here. Let's see. P-Money is going to correct beer here. Hold on. Bored Ape Yacht Club. What about Bread Baboon Target Club? Why ignore them? My gosh. Bored Baboon Yacht Club. Stupid autocorrect. There we go. Should Bear talk about his thoughts of what Bear almost when we were talking about some of this stuff, Bear almost came out and did his own NFT. I'm wondering if Bear should make a mention of that. I'm going to put that off to the side. That might be a little too much. Might be a little too how you describe it? A little too confrontational. Let's see. Anyways, it goes on. It says, Yacht Club is right. Because, thank goodness, no sane, hardworking human being is going to spend $500,000 on a digital picture of an ape. Maybe if it cured a rare disease? Though it seems to me that rather curing a disease, NFTs are slowly but surely creating one. Pardon me here. There we are. The disease of scamming people out of money and doing it in broad daylight. And he says, I highly recommend reading this article. I didn't bring it up here. By Evan Armstrong. NFT projects are just, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Pardon me here. 1 second, people. Bear's gotta rattle it around in his brain. Something marketing. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Basically a pyramid scheme. God, what was the name of it? Mainstream marketing. I forget. Anyways, a pyramid scheme for the tech elites, which goes into great detail about NFT projects operate like a pyramid scheme. There we go. So it says, in fact, this goes beyond the opinion of labeling Web 3.0 and NFT a scam. It is a straightforward fact. NFT exists on a non-existing foundation of Web 3.0, and we've talked about that in the past. And the big winners in this space are those who invested in cryptocurrency early and are able to afford to spend thousands, if not millions of dollars on novelty art pieces. Bear would also say spending the money on the developers as well if you're trying to create a collection out there. But what about people who are dragged into the space because they think they can get lucky and sell their digitized picture of a cat or a bear for a substantial profit? And that's kind of where Bear has kind of came from here is you really got to figure out what's going on with this space before you start putting money into it just because you see other people making money. Let's see, Gary Vaynerchuk, I think is he the one with the NFT, or excuse me, the Ethereum? I forget. Anyways, a big proponent of NFTs and an owner of his own collection has been quite transparent in advocating for people to be very careful with investing in NFTs. By the way, how many people of those that are selling these collections are doing that? The entire space is so early, and this must be deemed high risk, high reward. Please collect and invest with money you can afford to lose, like you're gambling here. We've said that in the past. I see too many in Discords and on Twitter who are playing with money they can't afford, and thus I fear can't afford to lose, rather, and thus I fear when there's a sustained dip. Like, let's see, he wrote this January 1st. Ethereum has went down since then. Bitcoin has tested some of its sort of lower levels, as it were, from the past year or so. As soon as he wrote that, if you actually had gotten in on some of that stuff at the very beginning of the year, you might have lost a little bit of money there. But in this case, Gary is one of the few who actually do advocate for cautiousness. Well, there you go. Web 3.0 is going great. A project by Molly White, we'll get to her in just a second, highlights the pitfalls of crypto technology and its lack of foundation. There you go. But also showcases the hundreds of millions of dollars lost, stolen or otherwise because of hacks, scams, and poor security practices. And we've kind of documented that for, a couple 5-6 months here. So there we go. As far as get-rich-quick schemes go, I have to say I'm impressed with the NFTs and their success. There are arguments which suggest that NFTs can or could be used for transparent, permission-based transactions in gaming, music, and so forth, or going to your favorite sushi restaurant. But it's difficult to find such projects up to this point. And listen, if anybody out there, wants to let anybody know, Bear will promote that. If there's actually a sort of real world use, other than, hey, if I buy it at this price, I can sell it at that price and make money. I mean, that's a great use, but there you go. Let's see. Multi-level marketing. Boy, oh boy, I tell you what. Thank you so much, Jeff Potts. I do appreciate it. I knew it had something to do with marketing in there, so there you go. Anyways, they were kind of comparing the NFT space with that. Let's see, where was I here? But they have been completely overshadowed by shady marketing schemes and a barrage of people who have no idea how this technology is going to evolve. And we'll get to that in just a moment here. And maybe it has to be this way. Maybe Web 3.0 and the NFT boom have to experience some kind of critical collapse. Listen up, people. Critical collapse for it to be rethought and restructured. In its current state, cryptography is like learning Sanskrit, and most people don't want to burden themselves with learning a language that only a handful of people know how to use. So he goes in to ask, so is Web 3 a scam? As it stands, the answer to this question is going to remain largely subjective. Now, Bear says yes, but, you can be subjective about it. If you have invested in Web3, you're more likely than an advocate more likely to advocate that it is not. Whereas people who see no real world application for Web3 are most likely going to say that it is a scam. Now, again, I think there's still some sort of application to it. I think that there is a good idea for peer-to-peer sort of situations there. But that sort of, let's just say we're trying to trade it's good for a ledger system, so let's just try and say we're trying to trade, I don't know, we're coming from country A to country B, and country A has certain products that it's selling to country B, and country B the same thing. And that way you can kind of have a ledger system that both sides can agree on and that it won't be changed very easily. I think that's a great idea. Is it worth, what is the Bitcoin price now? Is it worth $40,000 per Bitcoin? Probably not. You're probably talking, maybe a couple of hundred, maybe 1,000, couple thousand bucks or something like that. Figure maybe something along the lines of like an insurance policy or something like that. So it's a good way to think about it. But where a JPEG ape fits into the sort of larger world where it's worth millions and or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Probably not. Probably not. Let's see. While the market cap for cryptocurrencies is skyrocketing into the trillions of dollars, oh my goodness, we're just burning money. We have yet to see a true governmental interference with this technology. I would say that's not the case. We had the chance with, I think it was back in May of last year with China. They basically said no more mining and no more Bitcoin stuff. They were trying to prevent a lot of the outflows from China there. So I think what they're trying to say is there isn't any interference here in the U.S. I think that would be the case. Which I believe is going to be the first, first real pitfall and a test of how resilient this technology is to hold its own ground. Again, the China situation, we had Kazakhstan go offline for, a week or so. They're like 20% of the hash rate there. So I would say we've tested some of that stuff, and it has held on to its own. I would say probably more... look at the Federal Reserve. Are they going to continue pumping billions and billions of dollars in free money, or are they going to kind of close up that spigot? You can kind of really correlate between the S&P 500 and the Bitcoin, how well either of them doing. So if they take all this money out of the market here, there's going to be less money there to do speculative stuff like NFTs and Bitcoins. Let's see. I will say that by no means I am discouraging passionate people who work in this space. Yeah, same thing for Bear. Blockchain and security is something that I can advocate for because it has a promising future to keep our digital identities sealed. And he says that's interesting to him. But in its current state, Web 3.0 is disorganized as it is complex and difficult to grasp. Why would the average citizen of the world care about strings of numbers, hash rates, proof of stakes, sharding, or digital inception of pixelated art? Until these quirks are straightened out and divulged into common sense, I cannot see where Web 3.0 can either be accepted or justified. So there you go. There you go. And that is from Alex Ivanos. He spent 10 years working as a copyright and marketing specialist. So, and he only dabbles in web development. Well, we've picked from some other people as well that have a little bit more knowledge in that space. But yeah, that was kind of the big thing right here with the kind of an interesting kind of nosedive from, your top of the line NFTs to sort of, Joe or Jane six-pack out there making an NFT. You might not get that same sort of rate of return on any of that stuff. You're probably going to be, what was it? We had the guy the other week who made his own NFT, and it was like the poop emoji NFT, and basically he spent, $20,000, $30,000, something like that, and the OpenSea basically took it out of his wallet. He got robbed, man. He got robbed. So yeah, even if you're trying to do your NFTs, you might lose some money there. You might lose some money out of it. So, anyways, let's see. P. Mike says, I should tell my local restaurant, just call yourself NFT. Still accept only cash, but you can call yourself the first Canadian NFT place. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, so, if you want to kind of bring in the sort of rubes out there, yeah, go right ahead. Make your own NFT restaurant there. It's gotta have a classic view of, I don't know what, downtown, I don't know, Ontario, downtown, what's the other cities out there? Edmonton, Montreal. It's gotta have a beautiful view of downtown Vancouver. Um, there's probably a number of other cities out there in Canada, but Beer can't remember them all. All right, let's see. We were talking about Molly White here. Molly White says it's still not the early days here. So this was the lady that was doing some of the Web 3.0 is going great and whatnot, and she's kind of listing some stuff that wasn't going so great or anything like that. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but she makes a really excellent point here. So let me just kind of get into that real quickly. It says Bitcoin, currently one of the best known and most used blockchains, began to be used in 2009. Oh, I thought it was late 2008. Yeah, I guess it was 2009. I guess it was 2009. Ethereum, another well-known and popular blockchain, launched in 2015. In the grand scheme of things, 2009 and 2015 were not that long ago. In the technology world, that was a lifetime ago. And she goes on, says 2009 smartphones without physical keyboards were starting to become popular. Let's see. We still aggregated our favorite blogs to read on Google Reader. There was this new website called Twitter. VentureBeat had published an article urging people not to believe the hype around fully electric cars, writing that Tesla was floundering after recently bringing in Elon Musk as CEO. Uber was founded. People are talking about the gig economy. Consumer grade computers usually had 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM. Let's see. And Windows 7 was the new hot thing after the horror that was Windows Vista. So that was 2009. 2015, I saw the release of Windows 10. Microsoft Edge replaced the Internet Explorer. Discord and Apple Music sprung into being. Companies had just started to become more interested in virtual reality. The first Apple Watch came out. People began tapping their phones to pay for things with Apple Pay. The phones are all still, these phones still all had headphones jacks, and software machine learning was the hot buzzword. And it goes on and talks about some of the other stuff there. So she's kind of comparing some of that stuff where we're trying to talk about blockchain and all this stuff as being, the new hotness. Well, it's been around for a while. He says, all that's to say is a lot has changed in the technology world in the past 6 to 12 years. One only needs to look at Moore's laws to see how this is pretty much built into the technology world. As once impossible ideas are rapidly made possible by exponentially more processing power. And yet we are to believe that as technology soared forward over the past decade, blockchain technology spent the time tripping over their own feet. And she goes on and says, blockchains have been around a while, some will say, but so many Web 3.0 concepts are brand new. BS, I say to that. Cryptocurrency exchanges have been around for ages. The infamous Mt. Gox, I remember Mt. Gox, launched in 2010, as stablecoins have been around since 2014. One of the first well-known DAOs was created in 2016. Smart contracts became popular in 2017, along with the DeFi platforms. NFT were one of the more recent creations in 2018. A truly stunning example of how this space is apparently only getting worse the more people try to innovate in it. Oh my goodness. And in 2018, guess what Nira Nula and Alex O'Hannon, I don't know, were saying about cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies. It's early. It's the early days. So it raises the question, how long can it possibly be the early days? How long do we need to wait before someone comes up with an actual application of blockchain technology that isn't a transparent attempt to retroactively justify a technology that is inefficient in every sense of the word? How much pollution, oh my goodness, how much pollution must be justified pumping into our atmosphere while we wait to get out of the early days of proof of work blockchains. How many people must be scammed for all they're worth while technologists talk about just the beginning to think about building safeguards into their platforms? How much longer must the layman who so eagerly hustled into blockchain-based projects that promise to make them multimillionaires be scolded as though it's their fault that when they are scammed, as though they should be capable of auditing smart contracts themselves? Also, we talked about the one gentleman that basically was building his own server and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, there's not that many people that can do some of that, or just keep it up to date. I mean, we're not quite there yet where it's a little bit more accessible to everybody. And concluding here, she says, the more you think about it, the more it's the early days begins to sound like the desperate protestations of people with too much money sunk into a pyramid scheme, hoping they can bag a few more suckers and get out with their cash before the whole thing comes crashing down. So there you go. There is one version of that. Although you could still get your caviar with your crypto if you so desire. So there you go. There you are. There is our our sort of crypto roundup, as it were. Hadn't done it in a while, so it depends on how well the audience responds to some of that stuff. Figure out whether or not we continue to do some of that stuff. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of why we do some of the stuff that we do here. It's not that it's sort of, we're trying to bash the entire space. We're not trying to bash people like Mike Miller or anything like that. It's just, I think some of these people kind of get into some of the stuff, either knowingly or unknowingly, and now they're sort of holding the bag at the very best. What was it called? The multi-market lever. What was it? Multi-level marketing. That's basically where. I guess the best way to describe it is kind of like is it the Mary Kay? Is that the one where they sell the cosmetics? Sort of like a Mary Kay sort of situation where, you've got the sort of top boss. She's driving around in her pink Cadillac and sells you the product, and now you've got to sell the product or sell it to somebody else to sell the product. So it's sort of kind of a pyramid scheme, but it's on the legal side of the pyramid scheme. So, again, do people going into this know that, or are they, into it already and then they kind of figure it out and then they have no way out? Anyways, we just kind of let people know out there. Same thing kind of like with the comic stuff that we talk about here. Hey, everybody, here's what's going on. Here's what's the good. Here's what's the bad. If you're expecting your comic right away and it's stuck in, a container dock somewhere, or, the paper hasn't arrived because we got a paper shortage or something like that. So, people should know about that. It shouldn't be hidden or anything like that. So, kind of same thing with the NFTs. The more you know. I don't have the little graphic. The more you know. But, hopefully people get a little bit more knowledge about not just what the NFT is $100 and I can sell it for $200. Yay. You need to know a little bit more about sort of the background, what's going on. It was very surprising for Bear to realize that it wasn't an actual image on the blockchain. It was just a pointer to a server somewhere, and usually that server was a centralized Amazon server. So every time people talk about decentralization, it usually goes through a sort of central place there. OpenSea would be another good example. You're trying to sell your NFTs peer-to-peer to people, but you go through a centralized place there. So, the anonymity, the sort of peer-to-peer stuff just doesn't quite work out. So, hopefully people will get a little bit more knowledge about some of the stuff. I know it's a little bit boring for some people, but, the NFT stuff just kind of come up out of nowhere for some people. So, instead of just, the sort of the Fry mem from Futurama, here, take my money, that sort of deal. We try to educate some people on maybe some of the flip of the coin on the other side. Hey, what to avoid, what to look for, that sort of deal. So, yeah, if you put your money in when everything was sort of going hot and everything, and you look at your your statement now, you probably lost a little bit of money there. So we're trying to avoid people from, number one, losing a whole bunch of money, and number two, getting either scammed or getting robbed, or there's a whole Wild West mentality out there as far as the old NFT blockchain sort of situation there. So it's maybe a little bit best to just kind of take it, uh, you know, like what they say. If you want to go gambling and have a little bit of money to use your gambling money on, hey, check it out. Might be good, might be bad. You might learn something, and you know what? If you lose some money out of it, hey, you know what? You're not losing the kid's college education or the home mortgage or anything like that. So, yeah, I think that's probably the best way to kind of look at some of the stuff is just with just a tinge of skepticality, being skeptical. Being skeptical. I could say skepticality. I might have come up with a new word here, people. That's why you listen to the show. For bears to come up with new words in the English language. So there you are. There you are. Beer doesn't bash. That needs to be a T-shirt. There we go. We've actually. I'm still kind of considering whether or not to do a. Speaking of crypto, is it Crypto Fashion? Is the one where they sell some of the shirts? Yeah, the whole. I tried to do some stuff through eBay, selling some artwork here, and it just hasn't. Man, oh man, trying to get it through PayPal and get all that stuff working hasn't worked out. So yeah, Bear needs to get some money here for some more salmon. I tell you what. So yeah, making some T-shirts there. Beer doesn't bash. That might be a good one. That might be a good one there. Let's see. You're talking about Amway. Crypto isn't Amway. Well, um, we can disagree on that one. We can disagree. I think Bear is kind of uh, put up a number of data points here where people should be kind of a little bit more. I wish I would have. What was the name? Let me go back to it. Let me go find it here. One second. One second, people. Let's see what was the one here. uh, Evan Armstrong. Evan Armstrong, and it's called NFT projects are just MLMs for tech elites. So we kind of read a very small paragraph out of it. It's a very long, gosh, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages or something like that. He goes into detail on some of that stuff. So I would recommend that. I'll try and have that for the next live stream, maybe just to have that. If not, Jeff, I'll try and put that in the description after we're done here, so people can kind of see where beer. You gotta show your receipts and all that sort of stuff. All right, let me get out of that and go back to the thing with the thing. There we go. There we are. All right, let's see. Everyone says, now whenever I see the "More You Know" logo, your singing will always be in my head. The more you know. Skepticism. There we go. We can use that as well. We can use that. Title a live stream: Bear's Skepticality. Skepticality. Yeah, there we go. There we go. You know what? A beer it's usually maybe like 2 or 3 hours, maybe a couple more before beer goes on live. That's basically when he figures out what he's going to talk about and what the title is and like what am I trying to say here? The thumbnail here is for the video. I mean, I try to put some thought into it, but usually it's like, okay, this picture looks good. It goes with this. Yeah, that all works. Yeah. So like today we were talking about the lack of paper and the trapper keepers and stuff like that. So it's somewhat fit in, and hey, beer will make it work. Beer will make it work. But that's not a bad idea. Beer's Skepticality NFT edition. There we go. Although I don't know, some people, some people are probably tired of beer talking about NFTs. Why aren't you talking about comics, beer? Why aren't you talking about comics? I mean, we could go on and on about that, I suppose. I don't know. There's a couple of things over the other day. They had the Amazon. What was it? What was it? Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings thing that they're going to do. Probably going to lose some audience member here, but Beer has no interest whatsoever. I mean, Beer, I tell you what, it's going to lose some more people. Beer wasn't really ever into the whole fantasy thing. It's just kind of, I don't know. Sci-fi, yeah, awesome. Terrific. the sort of elves and that sort of stuff. It's fine. I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But Bear just never really got into it. So yeah, there's probably a whole bunch of other things that Bear could talk about here. But we try to do some consumer side of things, especially dealing with the whole NFT experience. So there we go. There we are. There we are. All right. Well, hope to be able to come back here on Saturday. I'm sorry that we missed it out here this past Saturday. We actually had quite a bit of a thunderstorm going through here. So I hope everybody is safe and secure in their place. But yeah, it was kind of hit or miss for a little bit. Wasn't sure if the power was going to stay on or not. So yeah, when power goes out while you're doing a live stream, it's never a good thing. But yeah, hopefully be able to come back here on Saturday. Hope to. Told you guys before. Got Earthbound, but want to try and do that in a HDR video as a box stream. So hopefully, Bear has been tracking the what was it? The USA Assassin #3 from Mark Polton and the good Mike McMahon out there. So hopefully that'll be in by Saturday. So maybe that'll be our box open, and we'll get to check that out. One of the great characters out there, Bazooka Dog. Oh man, looking forward to that. All right. Well, once again, looks like we're pretty much at the end here, about an hour or so. Want to thank everybody out there, including our Russian bots. Hope you have a good excursion into Ukraine. Good old P-Money, as always. And our good friend Jeff Potts out there. Let's see, is anybody else showed up? Let me see. Oh, whatever. Any of the lurkers out there and anybody else that's checking this out at the very end. By the way, once again, let me just put it out there. The Barely Live channel is up, just without the hyphen in there. So just type in Barely and then Live, and it should take you right to it. Other than the one that does the Chicago Bears. It's totally different channel. Totally different channel. Anyways, so once again, thank you everybody for swinging by here and hanging out with Bear once again. We like to have a little bit of fun here, even if we're talking about the wonderful world of NFTs. All right, well, thanks once again, everybody. But all this NFT talk, has made Bear hungry. Yes, indeed. He doesn't have a NFT to get into the fancy sushi place up there in New York. But at any rate, he's gonna head back into the woods. So until next time, everybody. Grrrrr.